Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these stories. First, Rivers State. Igbo Muslim clash claims false. Ohaneze tells Asari Dokubo. And then on to National Assembly. Electoral Act Amendment sparks walkout. Senate approval. Still on electoral reform, telcos dispute Senate claims on e-transmission readiness. And on wiretapping, federal government files 3-count charge against El Rufai. And then on politics, PDP alleges federal plot behind party crisis. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events, coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Infastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is a legal practitioner. He is the convener of Lawyers Without Borders, and he's also a regular on Open Conversation. He is Asim Adams, Esquire. Good morning, Asim Adams, and welcome.
Good morning, Lawrence. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning.
And on to the story. Minority lawmakers in the House of Representatives staged a walkout on Tuesday after the chamber approved controversial provisions of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, allowing manual collation of results as a backup to electronic transmission. The protest followed the retention of Clause 30 sub 3, despite minority objections that it could weaken electoral transparency ahead of the 2027 general elections. Led by Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda, opposition lawmakers argued that election results should be transmitted electronically without exception, warning that manual collation opens room for manipulation. They also opposed Clause 84 on modes of candidate nomination, insisting that political parties should be free to choose between direct, indirect or consensus primaries without legislative interference. In the Senate, similar tensions played out during the passage of the Electoral Act 2026 bill as lawmakers clashed over Clause 60 on results transmission. Senator Enyinaya Abaribe demanded a division to delete provisions permitting manual transmission in cases of electronic failure, but the motion was defeated with 55 senators voting to retain the clause against 15 opposition votes. Despite heated debates, walkouts and protests in both chambers, the National Assembly pushed through the amendments, citing technical corrections, election timing concerns, and consistency with INEC's 2027 election timetable. The developments underscore deep partisan divisions over Nigeria's electoral reforms, with the minority vowing to continue mobilizing public opposition. Barrister Sims, what is your take on this drama that has been playing out and the position of the Senate and the House of Representatives and also that of Nigerians on this matter of electoral reforms?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's my own opinion that we say it's democracy. So that is what, even though I believe Nigeria do not practice democracy, but people will say it's democracy that we are practicing. And what is democracy? Democracy has to do with the rule of law. Democracy has to do with the three arms of government and governance: executive, legislature, and judiciary. And that legislature, for instance, they have to enact law. It is their primary responsibility. That is why you elected them to go and begin to enact laws, for the country. But whether they have been enacting good or bad laws, or they have enacted a good law is in process or a bad law is in process, it's left to sentiments and how we judge them, you understand?
Yes.
But that is their responsibility. Now, if you look at the Section 4, gives them the power under our Constitution to sit down and do whatever they are doing to make, laws of good governance. That is what the Constitution said they should do. telling him or her anything. But in Nigeria here, nothing like that. All the APC, legislators, whatever, hook, line, and sink. They don't care whether electronic transmission is or has advantages or it will enhance credible election citizens as case may be, because the party has molded them in that way. They follow that line, hook, line, and sink. They don't want to look at the disadvantages of
but in
their whatever.
In this instance, yes. One would say to a large extent that like Nigerians are saying, and a whole lot of people are reacting to that.
Yes.
Electronic transmission will actually reveal the popularity or lack of popularity of these political elites, especially the people in the 10th Assembly. Now, a lot of persons are of the opinion that if we are to have real-time transmission of election results and, it is done properly and there is transparency, now we can now say, okay, we have gotten our electoral processes, we have it in the pocket, and now we can say we can trust our elections. A lot of persons are of the opinion that the Senate is trying to put in this proviso of manual transmission in order to enable rigging. What is your take on that?
You see, that is the way I somewhat agree with those people who are postulating such arguments.
Okay.
You understand that? Real electronic transmission will enhance credibility. But the question I want to ask is this: it is not 100% perfect. That is number one. Number two is this: in 1993, Nigeria did today international observers regarded one particular election as the freest and most credible.
Abiola
election. There was no real electronic transmission. There was no real, to be very honest, there was no electronic transmission. It was manual. The reason why the whole world today, even though Abiola was not allowed to ascend to that particular seat, the reason why the whole world today, even I remember America, EU, or all of them, OAU and the rest of them endorsed our election. Why? Because of the people who were in the then INEC, what is INEC today, who ought to be arbiters. You see, the law might be near perfect, but those who implement the law may be dangerously fraudulent. If you look at Osu, for instance, there was no real transmission. He saw results. He made sure that votes counted as a chairman of a NEC, equivalent of INEC now. He made sure that there was no mago-mago. He made sure also that there was nobody will contrive situations. Even when the Babangida, according to report, put a gun to his head and even slapped him and said, stop announcing the result. He went ahead and started announcing the results. And I heard he even took the result sheets to go and hide. You understand? Because he felt he did a credible thing. And today, history has no place for that kind of man in Nigeria. A man that did that credible election as regarded worldwide. Nigerians don't even regard him. There's no place for him. Even the INEC house has not been named after him. But that is dead or alive. INEC headquarters should have been named after Osu. Nigerians didn't do that. So you go to Abia State. Until today, our Labour Party in Abia State wouldn't have won or wouldn't have been in government today if that Professor Nene, whatever, did not stand her ground. There was no real-time transmission. But she stood her ground. And said this is the result, and nobody can do that here. So, if the result is the result I counted and is credible, I will hold down these results. You see, people like that, today, nobody knows where they are. Nobody is giving them any, whatever reward or credit. So, the law may be deficient in some areas, but when you have people who are credible, then we will be talking about credible elections in Nigeria. Now, coming back to the discourse at hand, the real transmission of results, yes, I somewhat agree with it. That those who are pushing it want it so that they can enhance, electronic voting, collation or whatever of results, as case may be, that it will enhance the credibility of our electoral process. But that is not the only thing that is needed for us to have credible elections in Nigeria. If, for instance, The question I've asked, you have retransmission of results, but the presiding officer is fraudulent. You have done, the law says electoral, whatever, fraudulent, transmission should be by electronic means. Then on the day of election, politicians who want to win election by all means orchestrate violence, and there's violence all over the most polling units in Rivers State, for instance. I'm not saying it's going to be, usually for example, there is violence, destruction of voting, retransmission of results, occasion credibility of the election or whatever. Without the result to transmit, there will not be results. So yes, e-transmission or retransmission is good, but it is not only, it's not the only ingredients we need for our credible election situation. We need credible men at the helm of affairs in INEC. If we have credible men at the helm of affairs in INEC, nobody will contrive results. Nobody will manipulate, even if it's manual. Nobody will go there and begin to change results. These have to be a holistic, situation. Why am I saying this? Is that we should add this to our demand. For instance, under section 60 sub 6, because electronic transmission talks is in section 60 sub 5, that talks about transmission without real time or no real time. But section 60 sub 6 talks about the punishment if a presiding officer does not follow section 60 sub 5 of the Electoral Act. What punishment should he get? So if I'm a presiding officer in a polling unit and I decide not to load my results electronically, real time, into the IREV, immediately as demanded, and I go to do it in my house, maybe 2-3 hours after, you understand, and I'm caught, what is going to happen to me? Is that they will arrest me, then when I'm found wanting, that I will go to jail for 6 months, or alternatively pay the sum of 500,000 naira. I don't know if you understand. That is if I didn't follow the procedure, assuming it's real-time electronic transmission, that is requested or required by section 60 sub 5. I fail to do it. I fail to do it, and I manipulate result or whatever as case may be, do the transmission 2 hours, 3 hours after. What am I going to get as punishment? Is 6 months imprisonment or 500,000 naira as a fine. Then I'll go scot-free. Now, if a man is manipulating government election in Rivers State, can he not manipulate presiding officers and pay 500,000 naira as fine for them to contrive the election situation in Nigeria? These are the questions we should be asking. Because as people say, as if it's a magic word, as if that electronic transmission is a magic word, that the moment you have it in your electoral act, that makes it, foolproof. Who told you that? You understand? And you should understand also that the Nigerian electoral system, under your laws, is not even it's a hybrid. It is a hybrid. Do you understand? Section 47 sub 3, go and read it. Read all the sections of the electoral act. For instance, let me give you a scenario which I find very interesting. Why I said it's a hybrid. Now, I have my PVC. On election day, I go to a polling unit in front of the studios here. I go in there, I bring my card out of my pocket manually. I give it to the whoever that is the INEC official, who will now bring out his beavers, electronic machine. He will insert the card inside of the beavers, or whatever they call it, to read whether I'm qualified or eligible to vote. He does that. If I'm qualified, he removes the card and gives it back to me, and so I should go to the next table. When I go to the next table, because of the fact that beavers has cleared me, I will not go there and begin to look at my name, number 12. That is manual. I will search my name and find number 12 on the list. Is it not so? Once that is done, they will not paint my finger or something like that. I will not go home Then come back when voting starts. When voting starts, the electoral officer will not tear the ballot paper and give to me. That is manual. I will take that ballot paper now and not manually thumbprint. Is it also for my candidates? I manually thumbprint. When I manually thumbprint, I will not manually walk to the polling box, or whatever they call it. I manually drop my ballot paper inside the manually, the physical box. Is it also? That it will not be manually counted. It is not going to be electronically counted. Because people are going to become PDP, LOP, 77, you saw what happened. APC, CC, manually. Then when you now do the counting, as the case may be, we now record it in from CEC8A. Then all polling agents or whatever will now sign. When they sign, they will not bring up whatever and send to the RF. Everybody will go back home. Not everybody will even wait. So we vote and go home. When you vote and go home, if you vote and go home, you are the electoral officers alone in the polling unit and the polling agents. So I know that Labour Party scored 89 in my polling unit, but I didn't stand to protect my vote. I go home. So when I go home now, what happens? The polling agents, INEC officials are not left alone in that place. A greedy politician will come and bring another form and fill in those results. You understand the point now? Fill in different results after compromising the presiding officer and the polling agents. Because the polling agents, they are the ones, the signature that will be there. And for me to sign, in what I've seen, is that many polling agents collect 100,000, some even 500,000 naira, and sign a different result sheet. Sign.
To what you have to say. I've been an election observer for years, Barrister Sims, and I can tell you for free that a lot of rigging is done at the collation center.
Yes.
Not even at the polling unit.
Absolutely, yes.
At the collation center, and a lot of rigging is done between the road from the polling unit to the collection center.
I know.
In fact, most times the vehicles that even come, to pick the presiding officer and the polling agents to the collection center diverts on their way to the collection center to the house of a big man, where another result has been already prepared, waiting just for the swapping to be done and signatures to be done in-house, and then they proceed to collation centers. I have been at a collation center where a sitting governor tried to intimidate and harass the INEC officer there. The INEC officer is a woman. I will not mention names, but I think having said this thing I've said, a sitting governor and the INEC officer there, the resident officer in that state at that time was a woman who was being intimidated and harassed. In fact, I had some military officers. The collation center was facing a police station. The police officers there were even the ones that were protecting, that were, a lot was happening. Some collation of some presiding officers, some agents, some of them were off-handed for the people that insisted that they were going to protect the results. Now, transmission to a large extent will cut off all this, because there and then in the polling unit, the officer is expected to capture that result in real time and transmit while in that polling unit. right? Then by the time you get to collation, what that real-time transmission literally makes that from EC8A of little use, because what will work will be the one that has been uploaded. And again, it appears that our machines, our electoral machines, the IRF manipulated. You actually go to court with confidence, whether from C8 exists or not. What is in the machine will not be what we'll be looking at, right? And because it is real time, they don't have to leave that collation center. And one will say, when this real time of transmission of results happens, don't you think it will ignite more confidence in the people? You will now see more people coming out to vote, and probably knowing that their results will not be changed in the collation center. They will now wait to ensure that that officer, uploads their result in real time. The moment they see it uploaded, they can now leave.
That is what I'm saying, that we have to do more than clamoring for electronic, transmission of results. I doubt if many Nigerians, after voting, we stay back, because let me tell you, even if when you fill and snap and send, it's not every vote. You have to wait for voting to close. Is it also? Most times they start election by maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. Election will not close around 4 o'clock. It is by 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock that collation of results, whether manually or electronically, will begin. Is that also?
No, not exactly.
No, what I'm saying,
in some polling units where you have lesser number of voters, in some polling units, elections end as early as 1.
That is
the moment the people there finish voting, they start collecting.
I don't know, because what I know from the one I have participated in is that elections start by 8 in the morning. Elections stop by 4 o'clock in the that is the legal time for election to stop. Now, polling officers will wait till that time before they count. Why? Is because of the fact that if you shut down election by 1 o'clock because people were not there, and by 2 o'clock people are coming to the polling, will you tell them to go back? You already computed your results. These are the things we have to look at. And will you tell the man to go back?
Then probably INEC will have to do it with regards to that regulation.
That is there's a time to begin and there's a time to end it. Now, once you stay and the election time has come, where they end, whether it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, say election ends. Do you understand the point? How many Nigerians will be patient enough to wait to be very sure that these results are posted every time? We have to do more than what we're agitating for.
Now, don't you think that, yes, I agree with you, but don't you think that part of the reason why Nigerians have that apathy and probably do not even care to wait is because after they have voted, even when they wait behind,
from
the time the officer leaves, when they get to the collation center, something different will happen inside the collation center. And mind you, in the collation center, voters are not allowed to enter there. It's very restricted to some election observers, polling agents, and polling unit.
Are you aware also that P2B, what denied P2B, in my own opinion, becoming president in 2023 was because of the differentials between the IRF results and the manually collated results. You understand?
Yes.
You see, the IRF results, P2B had the IRF results. INEC had both IRF and the manual results.
Yes.
But the court decided to choose one now.
And they went with the manual.
Do you understand the point? Because they say that is the most complete. So what I believe people are talking about here now is that they take out manual
collation.
Manual collation. That is the essence of from EC8A has become irrelevant. That is the question I'm asking.
Now,
because is it not where they do the record? You want to record those results, 30 for PDP, 40 for APC, 30 for Labour Party, in a result sheet, first of all. I don't even understand.
Yes.
You have to manually put those, give them, allocate the votes to them. They're not political or party agents will not sign.
Yes.
Presiding officer will not sign. They will not do what they call, is it short, whatever they call it? Screenshot it. And immediately forward. Do you understand? To the IRF, whatever they call it, or whatever they set up there electronically. That what I need to do is that as we have finished counting results, if election closes by 1 or 2 o'clock anywhere, as the case may be, that immediately that from ECHA is failed with the various results allocated to political parties, that the presiding officer will look at it, bring that his device, snap it. You understand the point now? Upload it to that they call it or whatever, and that ends it in that polling unit, it goes home. That is what we're asking for. Not like before. What defeated the beast or whatever was that they had that flexibility.
Now the question is
they had the flexibility.
That from ECA that INEC had represented in court, and the court chose to disregard that one that is don't you think that now Nigerians are saying we do not want this manual anymore? That's what I'm saying. I want to explain this. Yes, I want to explain to you now. That's what I'm saying now. That the real-time electronic transmission of result they're talking about is that it's not ruling out manual computation. I don't know if you get the point, because it's from ECHA, it is to be done manually. PDP 30, APC 10. Labour Party 15, or whatever the case may be. Then you now see column for party agent to sign. Party agent 1 will sign. Party agent 2 will sign. C will sign. The presiding officer will now sign everything. Is it also? Once they sign that ECHA, he will now snap that result. And immediately send it. In real time. In real time. Before, the practice was that the moment the man fills that form, all party agents have signed, he will tell there is no network. That when he gets to where there is network in a collation center, he will do what now? Upload it there. Now, that should be removed. Why are they always claiming that we need to get to the collation center in order to access internet? What goes on in the collation center? That is what we are saying, that is what the real time we're talking about now is that you don't even need to say you are going to your collation center. The result saying it there in the polling unit. The result saying it there. So Nigerians should be educated that the presiding officer must not give excuse to say there's no network. That's why I cannot upload right now. That he should do it and send in the place of those people. But now, even if this happens right now, right, the fact that there is a proviso that the Senate insisted on passing, which still gives room to that clause 60 sub 3 now that enables manual transmission just in case electronic. We are saying that we don't. Senate has gone ahead with top 5 says what is amended final is that electronic transmission of results shall be what will happen. Shall is the word you say. That must happen. But they now want you to not smuggle in this proviso. That is what the argument is now. They now smuggle in this proviso to now say, provided that there is network, and where there is no network in the polling unit, the recourse should be had to that manual collated results.
I don't know if you get the point.
Yes, exactly.
So which makes it fraudulent, and it's now giving, you know, the INEC official or presiding officer an ambulatory role to now use his discretion.
So at the end of the day, it goes back to the collation center. The
collation center. So it goes back to the collation center. So that is what people are saying it shouldn't be.
You're right.
Whether it's going to help party A or party B does not matter. Don't put in that proviso. Remove the proviso. Let it be that whether there is network or not, you must do that thing.
You're right.
But when you give him that ample opportunity for him to use his discretion, he can say there's no network here. So I will not upload. That's why I couldn't upload. Let me take to the house or to my rack or whatever the case may be. When I get network, I will not upload. Nobody will be there. No. So that is what people are, asking for. But I'm saying that apart from this particular, whatever, we should add more to that. Let us protect our votes. Let's stay there and make sure that these things are done to the letter before going back home.
All right. Still talking about network. Major telecom operators including MTN Nigeria, Airtel, Globacom and T2 Mobile have rejected claims that Nigeria lacks the capacity for real-time electronic transmission of election results, describing the Senate's position as inaccurate and based on half-truths. Chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria, Alton, Engineer Benga Adebayo, said over 70% of the country is covered by 3G and 4G networks, with additional 5G coverage, noting that even 2G infrastructure is sufficient for electronic transmission of results. He urged lawmakers to rely on verified data from the Nigerian Communications Commission rather than unsubstantiated claims. Adebayo acknowledged limited network challenges in a few insurgency-affected areas, but insisted this could be addressed through stakeholder collaboration, a position consistent with INEC's stance that results uploaded to its portal would transmit once devices enter areas with network coverage. Now, Barrister Sims, at least the telcos have come out to debunk or make a nonsense of the argument of the National Assembly, trying to push this on Nigerians, hiding under the guise of network coverage. And don't forget that I had mentioned that the guest I had on Monday said clearly, he's a technology expert based in the UK, said very clearly that network cannot be a hindrance to real-time transmission of results. As long as those machines are hard-coded, whatever is captured there, right, cannot be deleted or edited. So once the officer gets to an area, the moment he steps into an area that has network, it will just automatically upload. For example, Barrister Sims, when you have when you're chatting with someone on WhatsApp and probably there are network issues, recall that when you send, it will not, you don't have that blue tick, it will not have the double tick. But the moment you have network, it will automatically, whether you are on WhatsApp or you're on another app, it will just automatically send, right? You recall again, before WhatsApp updated their system to editing chats, there was a time when you send a message on WhatsApp, you can't edit it and you cannot delete it. That is hard coding, from what the technology expert explained to us. And he said, as long as our system is hard-coded, you cannot delete, you cannot edit. So it's just for the officer to screenshot it. When you get to where network is, it uploads naturally, and then they can do their collation electronically. So this argument by the Senate even holds water.
It does not hold. It's giving you real-time scores for you. Exactly. Immediately they sell it to you without network or no network. You understand the point, and you get it. If I go to Jam Portal, I can, you can see your results. My result. That is what we are saying. All these things they are saying, they know that it is not true, as the case may be. Even for areas where there's no network, yes, of course, we agree that you might be having network difficulties in some areas at times. These big men, they go what they call boosters. They have what they call boosters, and boosters. Those in technical world, we understand what boosters, are. That is what terrorists use. Some of them. You see, man, getting doing
videos from inside forest.
I send it to you. They use boosters. If you now enhance, the telcos and whatever access may be, and boost it to a level that it supplies your information. So INEC can fund boosters for areas that, we found that there are, there's whatever network issue or problems there. You can buy boosters to boost those. Work in line with telcos as the case may be. Do boosters as the case may be. Now, before now, the argument was that 176,700 polling units is what we have in the whole of Nigeria as a country. 176,700 polling units. That is what we have. Then they told us that out of the 176,000 plus polling units, about 15,000 plus polling unit area do not have network coverage or partial network coverage. Now that was 2023 when the same argument came up. Now from that time till now, the 15,000 areas that had that default has been worked on by telcos as the case may be, and they have come to give a confirmatory result that we don't have such whatever right now. So the Senate cannot hide under that particular clause now and begin to see that is the reason why
the Senate actually did not give the correct information when they were hiding under this. They were saying that about 45.53% only have network. Now the telcos, they said it's from NCC. Now these telcos are coming out to say that it's not correct. So that's about that they have covered about 90-something%. So what exactly?
What do they want now? They know exactly the efficacy of this kind of
real time. Yes,
that's why they are going against it. And it somehow, I really don't know, because I was discussing this morning. I said, well, I don't like what the Senate did, but who am I? Can I fight them? Can I go there and begin to pull out guns and fight? No. So the only thing we can do now is that men of good conscience should keep on, following up this trend, because it has not become a law yet, as the case may be. It's still on the bill level. You understand the point? We can, talk to the president and tell him that he should not assent to that particular bill when it comes before him. But I know that is factical. I know it's.
I just smile.
So that is the thing. Or we go to court and see if we can bring down. If he signs it, we also have the option of going to court and bringing it down and shooting the law down, as the case may be. But that will be very difficult, as the case may be.
The matter will stretch till after 2027.
That's right. The final decision is that. This is where I will appeal to the judiciary that you see what exactly Nigerians want now. What is justice if the majority do not get the joy of your verdict, as the case may be? What is justice? I know that justice is blind, but this is a democracy and this electoral whatever. The people believe in majority vote and majority rule. So if many or most Nigerians or 80% of Nigerians are saying that this is what should be, then the court should, give their own judgment in line with the agitations of the Nigerian people by shooting down, this kind of, open and close, bad law that the Senate or National Assembly is trying to enact, for us. Because the law you are enacting is for the Nigerian people. It's not people from Pluto. So, but it's sad that what happened yesterday. I look at it, I said it's democracy, as the case may be. They said the majority always carries the day. That is why you found that some people have even come to ask that question. What exactly is this democracy being majority rule and decision of majority? Assuming the majority are wrong.
Exactly.
Or assuming the majority are insane. Are you saying we're going to take that particular principle that majority decides the day while minority have their say? Assuming about, like in the Senate, what happened in the Senate, National Assembly yesterday, assuming the legislators, that is the senators and the House of Reps members, some of them were under the influence of a godfather. Some of them were under the influence of even alcohol. Some of them have lost their mental bearing and now decided to say this is what they want against the people's will. And you now say that because they are a majority in the House, then their will should override the general will of the people outside of the assembly, that is a discourse on another day, because I have asked this question a number of times. Nobody has been able to answer it. What is democracy? That it is government by the people and for the people and majority rule. So if majority rule is led by people who have lost their brains, but by the majority, it means that we're going to keep having mad people in power.
I don't know, I may be wrong, but I'm looking at it from the angle. If you look at it, yes, I hear you. But when you look at the motive, maybe it's not even a function of a godfather or a function of questioning their mental acumen at that point. But isn't this coming from the fact that this 10th Senate knows that they have done so much that they are not sure of their return if elections are to be free and fair and credible? Yes. Because if they claim, if Akpabio, for example, is claiming that he has been an amazing Senate leader or Senate president, and to a large extent he has done well by his constituency, he has done well by Nigerians, I mean, he should be confident that anytime, any day, he will win the polls over and over and over again. What are these political elites hiding? What are they afraid of? I think that should be the
They are not popular candidates.
What are they afraid of? Is it that in the first instance they rigged themselves into that position, and they know that if the votes of the people should count? For crying out loud, in Abia State, if not for Professor Nena Oti, like you rightly mentioned, that Alex Oti wouldn't have been the governor of Abia State. He would have been a rigged governor that would have been on seat, and probably Abia State will not see the development that it's seeing today. So the question is, are these people in the National Assembly, and not just these people, the governors of different states that are pushing these things behind closed doors, are they scared that if real-time transmission of results should happen, which will actually reflect the will of the entirety of Nigerians, they are not going to come in, and there will be a complete political revolution where this crop of politicians will leave and a new people will come into the system?
You know what we are doing? I have said this, that plutocracy is what we are doing here. People have argued with me and they keep telling me that it's democracy. I said it's not democracy. Let me tell you one quotation by an anonymous, man. I read that, when I said that, I marveled. And I said, oh my God. He now said, when democracy, is governed by people with property against the poor, that is no longer democracy. That is, those in power, they are in majority in terms of when it comes to real power. And they are the ones that own properties. And if they are the ones controlling, the people without property who are downstairs there, that is no longer democracy. Like what happened in the House of Reps and House of Senate. That's no longer democracy. Because the people who are there, they are the majority. How many of them? 65, 55? Or 80 something? Is it not so?
Yes.
They are the majority in terms of the so-called democracy. You understand the point now? And these 55 or 85 people are property owners. They are bourgeoisies. They are men with means. You understand the point? So they had their way yesterday. But the Nigerian people never had their way. The Nigerian people for which they represent, are the ones suffering it. And that is what we, as a student and scholar of, political science and philosophy of science and the essence of the social contract, I have asked the question, if the members of the House National Assembly, being that 55 here, 200 and something people on the other side, form majority, to now begin to deliberate and say this is what we want, and they say they are representing us, and you come down to the lower ladder and you find that Nigerians in their millions are rejecting what you are approving at the head there. Are you truly representing us? Are you truly representative of those of us who sent you there? Then what is the essence of the social contract between me and the people who are representing me in the upper house or lower house of assembly in Abuja there? We have to really examine this, because it's an anathema. In my own opinion, that's why I say democracy is in abeyance in Nigeria. No, because I cannot find a situation where a parliamentarian MP in the UK will go outside of what the people want to go and thumbprint and put his finger to a particular bill in the house or a motion in the house that is against the people, he cannot go back there. He cannot go back to that constituency. Is it in the US that the people are saying this is what we want? We want real-time transmission. And a senator on the Congress goes and, takes his decision above or his personal decision against the people's decision. He cannot go back there. He cannot go back to the constituency. They will ostracize him. But in Nigeria here today, what is the essence of this social contract that we have? That is the question we should be asking ourselves. Is this democracy? Yes, we may say majority carry the day in the National Assembly. But majority of Nigerians who sent those few there, the microscopic few who sent them there, have said what you did yesterday was against our wish. So which now prevails? Is it the majority in the House of Assembly or National Assembly that will prevail?
Or the
Nigerian millions, the masses, the people who are part of the contract that took you there, which should prevail? This should be left for other discourse, maybe for students and scholars.
All right.
Begin to debate this.
All right, very well. Moving forward, federal government has filed a 3-count charge against former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai at the Federal High Court in Abuja, accusing him of unlawfully intercepting the phone communications of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. According to the charge instituted by the Department of State Services, El-Rufai allegedly committed the offense alongside others currently at large and was said to have admitted involvement during a television interview on February 3. The alleged act contravenes provisions of the Cyber Crimes Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Amendment Act 2024. The former governor was further accused of failing to report the unlawful interception despite having knowledge of it and of using technical devices in a manner that endangered public safety and national security, contrary to the Nigerian Communications Act 2003. I say, madams, what is your take on this?
My take is that, first of all, I think we have to, before they prosecute El-Rufai for anything, they should, I think I'm begging the Medical Association of Nigeria to evaluate the mental alertness.
Psychiatric evaluation.
A psychiatric evaluation of El-Rufai. Because he has been in the news, very sensationally, just for some time now, just now. Why am I saying this? And I'm, recommending such for him is this. He gets up in the morning to say, he has stepped into whatever his case may be. He has come up to say whatever. I don't understand that kind of, that somebody will wake up in the morning and self-implicate himself. I always saw situations, so if I were to be a lawyer acting for him, I would first of all ask him and take him to a corner and maybe give him a dirty slap and see if he will wake up and let me ask him, okay, are you sure you are okay, as the case may be? Because let it be like René Descartes that, propounded, the theory of cogito ergo sum. I am, therefore I exist. There was a reason why that particular, proponent of that theory came about. He lit himself up, with a hot iron or mattress to be sure that he's alive. You understand the point now? So I am trying to ask people to do that to El-Rufai, first of all. Wherever he is, in the EFCC or custody or whatever, El-Rufai should first of all be taken for mental, evaluation, psychiatric evaluation. Why am I saying this? Because he has come out to self-implicate himself by way of confession. Let me use a word. He has confessed that he did this, he did wiretapping, etc. It is not the state accusing him now. He's the one that said he did this. He reminded me of a particular young man some years ago. I think it should be the time of Obasanjo or some military rule. I can't remember the name of that young man. The LMPC building in Lagos, Ikoyi, there was on fire. It was on fire, gutted by fire. People were saying it was bombed. Some were saying it was fire, whatever the case may be. A young man ran to the NTA at Victoria Island and confessed and said that himself and his group bombed the place and put the the NNPC office on fire. It's on record. I think yes, his name is Chris Wokobia. I remember now. His name is Chris. He went to National and said that himself and his group were the ones responsible for that particular fire in the place. There was alarm in the whole country. DSS, SSS, they were looking for him. Finally, they now arrested him. When they arrested him, they found that you are the one that you say yes. They fact-checked him and found that there was nothing like that. So they just detained him for a period of time. I think they released him. He's a popular lawyer in Nigeria today. They released the young man and he left. You see how a man like Melafia Obedeya, a former director in the Central Bank of Nigeria who retired. I think he's from Plateau State or something like that. He woke up one morning and said that he has in his that the Fulani headsmen or Fulani people, then this terrorism has not really said, it was just bludgeoning. He now said that he had it on record that they are moving, arms, ammunition from Plateau, whatever, to Kwara, Ogun, Port Harcourt, Abuja, etc. to bomb a Christian, hideout churches, etc. as case may be, and even kill some prominent Christian leaders. That he has information on that. You understand the point now? Yeah. So the DSS, or BSSS, they invited, that's 2020, yes, I remember. They now invited Melafia Obedeya. He's late now. They invited him and started questioning him. At the end of the day, they found out that what he was saying, himself couldn't establish it, even though he confessed to that. Shortly after he left DSS custody, the man had a mysterious sickness and died. It's a fact. You can fact check me. Obadia Meleafa is his name. Former director in the CBN. He became so worried, just like El-Rufai is doing right now. He came out, whether he was paranoid or he was suffering from paranoia, maybe, he now made those statements and confessed. But when he was arrested, there was no proof to that. The same thing the El-Rufai, whatever that he's doing. Now, El-Rufai has confessed, implicating himself. You understand? Mm-hmm. And why I say they should do medical evaluation is because of the fact that when the presenter also asked him, are you aware that what you are saying here that is illegal? He said yes.
He said even federal government.
Yeah, he said he's even aware.
They even tap.
Yes,
they are tapping.
Good. That is boldness to an extent I cannot say. So instead of something is beating the drum for him, or he's lost his mental consciousness, I think they have to do something about it. First of all, before they begin to interrogate him. Now, let me put this straight. A lot of lawyers have come to say, charge was effective, this one was this one was that, as the case may be. And look at, I'm not going to go to the legal side of that issue because that is left for us in the courts. And the matter is already subject is being in court, as the case may be. But the periphery is what I'm going to periscope, as the case may be. A confessional statement made by, himself, El-Rufai right now, does not mean that he has, or must not lead to conviction.
Okay.
Because he has said I did it does not mean that he is guilty as charged. The DSS or whatever has to do more. They must profile him. And the rule, criminal jurisprudence that goes to profiling, a self-implicating suspect must follow. And number one is objectivity, his state of mind. Hope, like I said, is very okay, proper, and he is still mentally alert. That must be taken into consideration. The second one is this. Even though he has confessed in this situation, it is the duty of the DSS also to prove that this is beyond all reasonable doubt by providing what they call proof of evidence. Do you understand the point now? Yes. Which they must show that actually El-Rufai tapped or wiretapped NSA's telephone line, as the case may be. El-Rufai himself, I don't think he really has more than to say that this is what happened. But technically speaking, they must prove that he actually wiretapped. And that will be an indictment on the NSA office. As if actually El-Rufai is able to say this is the man that did it, and they arrest that man, and they now go through technical whatever and find out that wiretapping actually took place. it will be an indictment. It will be another gate like Watergate. Maybe this should be El-Rufai Gate, as the case may be right now. It should be El-Rufai Gate because this is a very serious, confession. I don't know why he did that, to self-implicate himself. Very few people do that. And people who self-implicate themselves are, suffering from a condition, medical condition that has to do with peripatetic, a medical situation. Maybe they've lost hope in life. It's very close to immolation. When you do what they call self-immolation, you blame yourself and you give reasons why you don't deserve to be alive again. Before you know the next thing, you set yourself ablaze. You understand the point now? So when he has gotten to that point, what has made this man? He's not an ordinary man. He's a big man and an intelligent man. For him to come out and say this, and know full well that the implications are heavy and enormous, and he has admitted that he knows, then I believe something is wrong with his psychological strain. I am just appealing to them. I sympathize with him, honestly speaking. I sympathize with his family, but honestly, we may not be far from the fact that one of a noble Nigerian may have lost his mind. That is not the truth of the matter. Because I really don't know. Now the DSS have profiled these charges against him. Whether rightly or wrongly as the case may be, whether they have a case against him or they don't have a case against him, but it beats me whole that a high profile Nigerian politician, not a terrorist. It's only terrorists that will say, we did it. Because they know the consequences. I remember Amini and one day here, Sumbo, armed robbers in Benin, Bender State in those days. You understand the point now? They asked him, he said, I know I'm going to die, now me shoot. You understand the point? I am the one that killed this police commissioner, I'm the one that shot this one. And they asked him, he said, yes, I know, because I know that this is the end for me. I'm going to die. So when people begin to say that, why if Elrufai had just made a statement to say we were attacked, and he didn't make a further statement to say I know the implication, I wouldn't have asked for mental examination, as case may be. But since he said I know the implication, for me, something is actually very, very, very wrong somewhere. Is he under pressure? Or has he gotten so frustrated?
Or is there a game playing out?
Or is it?
Are yet to know.
But if he's playing a game, it becomes very dangerous because he went to say, is it thallium or something? He said sulfate.
The toxic.
How did they go? How did they get?
That's the thing. How did he get?
How did he get information? How did he even know the use of such chemicals?
Does that concretize? Does that concretize the wiretapping statement that?
I don't see. What I'm saying is that he leaves more to be desired. There's so many things that see. There are so many things. Nigerians, and for me, I'm so curious. I really want to know, honestly speaking, because if it is like that, is this how they manage and stage manage things upstairs there while we are sleeping? Sani Abacha died, just like that, mysteriously.
Abiola
died mysteriously. Obadiah, I talk about my life, died mysteriously after leaving the SS, and he made mention of chemicals of this nature. So are we saying now that there is something people in power know that we ordinary Nigerians don't know, because I'm getting scared?
And Barrister Sims, talking about the mysterious deaths and all of that tied to prolonged sicknesses and all of that. Now, I did a research on the thallium sulfate, right? It's a salt. It's a toxic substance that is basically it's tasteless, it's odorless. And when ingested, I also Googled, there is no antidote. There is no cure to any poison through that substance. Now, this thallium sulfate is strictly regulated, banned in some countries of the world, is strictly regulated and on high alert. Now, apart from that, when I was now reading the symptoms of poison through this substance, it's a degenerative disease. like it attacks your neural functions. It attacks your spine. It starts to degenerate like a little. Even some of the symptoms are akin to chronic diabetes. When someone has chronic diabetes, like the really fatal stage, some of those extreme symptoms one will exhibit. So I was reading through it, I was like, wow, this is an issue. And going by the fact that even if it is, and again, they Google called it slow poison. So its effect is very slow. The death is not instant.
Yes,
it comes in form of sickness and takes its toll.
That's what I'm saying. So why people, when you talk about evil machinations, why should somebody even sit down and begin to use such mechanism to eliminate people, or use such dangerous whatever? Mind you, we have high-profile people in Nigeria prisons today. We have high-profile people who go about their businesses. They are not politicians. We have high-profile people who walk around. Suddenly you just hear that this man is no longer, it's not there.
Or he's
just sick and he goes. So that is why I'm asking, I'm querying and inquisitioning the DSS to thoroughly investigate this particular matter.
How can the DSS investigate a matter by NSA? This allegation has been leveled against literally the highest office overseeing security in Nigeria.
Yes.
And that's the NSA.
Yes.
And don't forget that DSS, military, police, all of them are under the NSA.
So
how do you interrogate or investigate allegation leveled by your superior in that instance? And the importation of this toxic substance, El-Rufai is alleging that it was imported through the office of the NSA. So, which means whatever details about this importation, it seems that it has government backing.
yes, that is what
Very, very classified.
That is what I'm saying. So if that is the investigation that I believe they should do, because everyone now they're going to investigate him, he should tell us.
How did he come about such information?
The information,
he's even in opposition and not close to
in fact, I really can't. The thing is so baffling to me. When you sit down and begin to say sulfate, Italian sulfates. And when I read about it, and I said this is a very dangerous game. Why should people think about such? That is what I am asking. Is it that the security agencies use such, whatever to eliminate people? These are things Nigerians will need to know. Otherwise, fear or us are enveloped all of us.
The NSA so far has not come out to debunk.
They will not. When they are saying they are the ones that are doing that. So Nigerians really need to ask. That this should be further probed and investigated. It's really sad, in my own opinion. And first thing for me, let them investigate let them test his mental capabilities first of all, and know his mental strands, if they are upright and the tentacles are still okay.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Simadab. It's a pleasure having you this morning.
Yeah, pleasure too.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events, coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Ifastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, you can find us on an Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ugu. See you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.